You need to give your child carbohydrates. In Uganda, we are lucky. We have a lot of organic food. We have a lot of naturally produced carbohydrates. So if you balance a child's plate of food, that it has 5 different colors of food on the plate, not the plate having 5 colors, but the food having 5 different colors. So the whites would be the carbohydrates, the browns, which could be meat or beans, could be the protein source, then the green leafy vegetables, then the orange and the reds may be the vitamin source. But having a glass of milk a day is something that is going to protect children from getting hypocalcemic and then getting broken bones, from getting teeth which are unhealthy. And so it needs to be balanced and for what the family can afford. Because I cannot be here prescribing to parents, give fish, give meat, when in fact they can only afford maybe grasshopper protein or ant protein or beans or peas. So it's a balance.
So basically the fact is to ensure that you find some protein, some carbohydrate.
Exactly.
For your child.
And
it doesn't
also
matter where it comes from.
The micronutrients.
Yeah.
And the micronutrients are even more valuable. If your child does not have manganese, if your child does not have iron, if your child does not get enough calcium in their body, then they are going to get problems. And will get those problems that you're afraid of, the non-communicable diseases.
Yeah. And these children are, little humans who have very fragile appetite. So in a scenario where they are not interested in a certain food, I mean, how do you balance that off?
Well, there are some babies who are picky eaters, and they'll get frustrated if you're forcing food down their throat. So I'd like to urge parents to be patient during meal times. Meal times should be a happy time, not a time for a third world war in your house. The more you strangulate a child to swallow that potato, the more you force a child to feed, the more the child is going to become angry and sad during meal times. Meal times should be a time when we are all happy, and it should be an enjoyable thing. I've advised parents to, change the color of the food. It just takes a little dye, edible dye, to color the rice, to color the green leafy vegetables, to cut up the carrots into shapes like stars, so that the child gets interested to eat the food. You can mince the meat, add it into the food, make like a porridge, so that the child doesn't have to struggle to chew. But also, there are children who are special. There are children with special needs. And those are the ones who I worry about the most. Children with autism, for example. Mealtime may be a time when they are sulking or throwing a tantrum. And then you start harassing them and beating them. So parents need to understand that children are special, but children need to eat. And parents also need to know that children learn from us. If you're having a meal and you're busy with a newspaper, not concentrating on your food, or worse still on the phone doing WhatsApp, the children are watching. So let us be examples of our children, that meal times should be serious. And having 3 meals a day is amazing, it's good, but snacking in between also affects the children's diet. So imagine a child has breakfast, and then you're busy feeding them on all sorts of over-processed food. By lunchtime, that child will not have any appetite. Plus, we must have a holistic child. A child who does exercise, a child who sleeps enough, a child who is interested in their surroundings by doing early childhood development activities, so that the child's brain is not only feeding on food, but also feeding on things that are developing that child's brain. So taking them out into the garden, and even helping them understand that, you know, this is cabbage, this is a legume, these are beans, and this is how we are going to cook them. When children participate in their food production, they are more likely to eat it. Correct.
Great. So I was also now going to take us to, I mean, we've had sometimes some have children who are boys, others who are girls. I mean, does that in any way have an effect on what they eat, how much they eat?
So the body demands, and there are children who have a really good appetite. From the time they are born, they are busy suckling the breast like it's a challenge, you know. And then there are others who are weak eaters. But whatever it is, we must encourage the mother to demand feed, especially for little babies who cannot speak for themselves. As children grow older, they are going to start eating more based on the amount of energy they're expending. My youngest son is now 18, and even he gets surprised of the amount of food that he's eating. But he's also a sportsman, and he's currently reading for a serious exam. So it's not surprising that he's eating more. But also he's growing up. He's growing for the last time, you know, in height, in girth, and it's okay for them to eat. It's a challenge, Walter, if the family has no food. And we've seen children in the malnutrition unit who come because they are malnourished because of lack of food. And that's a problem. But that said, I'd like to encourage parents to feed within their means. You don't have to feed on food from a 5-star hotel.
Yeah.
You can manage and balance with whatever you have, but it has to be balanced. Throwing your child a piece of cassava or a piece of potato and saying, eat that, that's not a balanced diet. That potato can be complemented with a glass of milk, or with some beans, or with some, you know, nut sauce.
And at what point does one consider supplements? I mean, there are parents out there who tend to bend towards supplementing with multivitamins, etc., etc. You know these things.
For me, I think it's a marketing strategy. Of course, there are some children who will need supplements, but that has to be a prescriptive medicine from the pediatrician. For example, if a patient comes to me and I see that the patient has rickets or the patient has vitamin D deficiency, I will put them on vitamin D supplements. If a child comes to me and they have, for example, vitamin C deficiency, and the parents cannot quickly afford fruits, I will supplement for that time period when the child is sick, and then we revert to fruits. And fruits are in plenty. We were driving along Bombo Road and saw like loads of pineapple. I mean, this country has a lot of fruit. It can feed the entire region. So you just need to know where to find it. There are mangoes in season right now. There are bananas every day. So parents should learn that they can actually feed the children on those other things. But the supplements come with a good story. They come with a good marketing strategy. They contain one little pill with everything. And who wouldn't want to choose that over, I have to cook multiple amount of food? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Doctor, for sharing that information. And of course, the most important thing for you out there, apart from what the doctor has told us on how to care for your children, is to know that if everything goes to the west, then you choose the doctor. You let the doctor get you the remedy for whatever might be the problem. So in short, I'm just saying, always consult a doctor if you can. My name is Walter Mwesiji, and that's all we had for you this evening.